Here it is.
Hey ho! So if you guys been watching me for a while, you probably know that I have made some VTuber dolls in the past.
That's me. I'm a VTuber.
And I'm actually getting married in
doll
about a
making
week.
videos.
I thought, how about I make another VTuber doll before I'm taking a tiny break
That's
from
me.
posting, because
She's talking
planning
about
a
me,
wedding is
guys.
a lot. Amazingly enough, the decision who to make was made pretty easy when I saw that the amazing Dokibird hosted a charity stream and searched for artists to participate in that. The artworks and items that the artists offered would then be auctioned off, and the proceeds would go to charity. So I applied, got accepted, and offered a slot of a custom Dokibird doll that will go into their new home, which is what we are going to do today. As always, Blue Pixie did an amazing job by already sculpting a beautiful face and some of her accessories. So how about we get my 3D printer and some resin prepped and start this project by printing the doll.
Holy shit, what the fuck is that? What is that machine? Is that a 3D printer? Wait, what? Are 3D printers like that now? Oh my god, that has to be a fucking... Oh, it's a resin printer? They can 3D print resin now? Wait, that's insane. That has to be crazy expensive. Oh my god, those are my legs. Whoa, naked.
I really love the little smug smile on her face, and I'm happy that the printing and assembling went so well. And now that the preparations are done, we can now actually start working on the doll. To start off the project, how about we make her wig? As a full-time content creator, I have to make sure to stay always on top of the game when it comes to trends and social media. One recent trend that I picked up was people telling their own stories through short form content.
Bro, those
I think the cat is coming. I wanted to learn more about this subject and then found this class from Halease Never.
Okay, sorry, I'm gonna skip your ad. It's Skillshare. But like she reminded me of this other channel that I really like to watch. I think it's nerdy. What was it that it's also like a crafting channel too. Her like personality reminds me of that channel where it's I'm trying to remember, they like make like really cool really cool gaming stuff as well. They once made like a custom PC that was like inspired by Cyberpunk. I'm trying to remember the name. We should watch some of their stuff. Nerdforge, yes! I love Nerdforge.
This time I start by gluing
Nerdforge is one of my favorite channels.
An essential item that I found recently for making wigs is this matte styling wax. Because with this you can really mold the hair into shape. It's amazing. To make Doki's bangs a little more spiky, I thin out the hair by vertically cutting into them and then use the styling wax and heat to mold them in shape. The curling wand is an excellent tool for flattening down the hair as well. When I was satisfied with the look, I then proceed and glue, cut and style her hime bangs. The front of her hairstyle was actually not that easy to mimic, which is why I decided to start the wig with it this time. The hime bangs are kind of like layered, and it was a bit tricky to make that work. Once I was satisfied with the look on the front, I glued more
the
skin
suit has to be like
on top of the head, and then decided to use my shears to thin out the
I thought my skin suit was easier.
And then finally start on the back of the head. For the pigtail look, I will glue
have
around hair in the
layers.
direction
You're
of
right.
the pigtails on the back of her head. Afterwards, it looks a bit messy, and believe me, it was. But I basically just had to pull all the glued hair into a pigtail. And then for the final layers, I prepped a bunch of folded around glued wefts, which I now will be using to create all the parting lines on the wig. This was a lot of work, and I've been working on the wig for the whole day already, and it was evening, and I was pretty tired, so I did that off cam, and I'm sorry.
Oh my god, look at all that hair.
To make
so many layers too.
I cut this shape from fabric
thank you for the
fabric vinyl from both sides and folded
hello everybody,
like
it's me, Dokibird.
To cover up the front and the middle,
I usually stream on the YouTubes, but today I'm on Twitch because I'm a React Andy today.
Spade charm to it that I made with my laser cutter. I also made another ribbon the same way.
Oh my gosh, the ribbon's so cute.
You can see the final wig so far, on which I now can finally attach the ribbons with some hot glue. I actually did try to make make Doki's head out of fabric, but I failed miserably. So Blue came to the rescue here and sculpted Doki's head so I could then 3D print it in resin.
That's so
and I then
pretty.
just have to simply paint it according
Hats
to
are
Doki's
very
model
hard
artwork.
to make
I love how
in
flawless
general.
it looks, and will now also glue it to the wig so that it won't fall off and potentially break in worst case, since resin is a little bit more brittle than filament and tends to break more easily. The finished wig looks so cute already, and I'm really proud of the little bows. I'm not a fan of
the layers is actually so well
wigs, but I
done.
love how they look in the end. Let's paint Doki's face next. The Pixie did such a nice job sculpting it that you can already tell by the sculpt itself that it is really Dokibird. As always, I'm giving the face some sheen with pearly shimmers. You can really go a bit overboard with them, as sealing them with Mr. Super Clear later on will make them disappear a little again. I also add a little bit of blushing to different areas of the face. I know anime faces tend to look more flat, so adding a little bit more blushing than,
I think that's like
for example,
the hardest part with
really helps here. When I was satisfied with
the hardest
blushing,
part with like
painting
painting figures is to make it not like one-dimensional type deal and adding shading. I think that's like the hardest part. I've seen so many like custom figures and stuff that like forget to do like the important parts of shading because it's so hard to make it look right as well.
I then can finally go in with black acrylic paint and carefully line the lashes with it. Of course, I also have to line Doki's cute little smug smile using some gouache paint. Mistakes can be carefully scratched away with an X-Acto knife. So cute! To give the eyebrows a little bit more of a blonde look, I decided to use a little bit of pastel yellow on the middle of them, and I really like the look. For the finishing touches of the face, I'm using my favorite iridescent sparkly shimmers on her cheeks and forehead before sealing her off the final time. To make Doki's eyes, I made these tiny templates on my iPad and printed them onto some cardboard paper. I'm then taking my half sphere mold and will use the third biggest one. Using some UV resin, I drop one drop of it into the mold and then place the iris onto the resin upside down like this. I let it cure for a minute and then add some white UV resin that I mixed with some white resin pigment. I cure it again for about 3 minutes and then it's time to demold the eye. And it's forming!
Oh my god!
Oh no. This happened because my mold might be a little old at this point, and this rhymes. But don't worry, we're here to rescue it because I can simply use some UV top coat and gloss it over. And to make the resin spread evenly, I can use a lighter and then cure it in my UV lamp.
She's blind.
The finished eyes look like this, and I think they're really pretty and super shiny. And here is also the finished face. With some editing
honestly,
magic,
like that's not a surprise.
So cute! Oh my god! The face already looks so much like Doki, so I absolutely cannot wait to make her outfit next. To make Doki's outfit, I actually really had to think how to even be able to realize it. In the end, I opted to make an underdress with the white top part and a layered skirt, and then basically make a black dress topper separately. And of course, then make the jacket, accessories, and shoes. So how about we start with the underdress first? First, let's make the skirt of Doki's dress. Since it has 3 layers and little white strips on them, I decided to cut the strips from white fabric vinyl. I think fabric vinyl has such a nice and neat finish that I really enjoy using it. After cutting, I just have to weed it out, and here you can see I cut 3 ruffled pieces from blue fabric already and will iron on those vinyl strips onto them first.
I'm just like thinking how expensive all of the machinery to make these custom dolls
look like this, and
especially like resin dolls too.
Up the bottom seams and bottom top seams of the smaller strips by gluing
she's so
them
good
around.
at
As you can see, I also
arts
pulled
and
in
crafts.
some gathering threads and now gathered the ruffles. It was a bit tricky to do so, but
have you
in the end,
guys
they looked.
have you guys seen this like fashion designer that does like pop culture does like outfits inspired by like movies and TV shows and like cartoons? And then she did one from like the Rogers Rabbit, the unrealistic expectations of women outfit. What's her name? What's her name? She did like from Roger Rabbit. Jessica. Yeah, Jessica Rabbit. Have you guys seen that? There's like this like YouTuber. She does like very little she doesn't upload a lot of videos. But she has like almost 1 million subscribers from the very few videos that she has uploaded because it's just so good. I'll show it to you guys later.
However,
It's actually
this
insane.
whole skirt
I
ended
saw the
up
short of it and then I
not
watched the
that
video.
great.
What?
So I basically had to go back to the drawing board
happened?
and try
What
to
happened to
figure
my
out how
dress?
to make this skirt look better. I ended up going with a pleated look instead. So I prepped some new strips for the skirt and cleaned them up. Then I sewed the 2 bottom pleated parts to a tulle strip and then attached the top
You have to
pleated
be
part
like a
to that
mini,
tulle
like you
strip.
have to
And
know
then
how to
I
do
pressed
clothes
the
for
pleats
this.
according to the markings on the top pleated part. For the top part of Doki's dress,
People
I
who know
cut
how to
this
do like
white fabric piece
clothing
and will attach
patterns
a
is
little
actually like
facing to
so
it on top of
talented.
it. I sew it, press it, and then stitch it down like this, so I can now pull in a
like
little
a
rubber
dumpling.
thread through the tunnel that we just created. If you have trouble threading in threads like this through needles, a lot of TH, you can just use some tape, attach it to the end of the thread, cut it into a tip, and then thread it through the needle like this. This is just such a good trick I learned recently that I had to share it with you guys. And then I just proceed and thread the rubber band into the top. When that was done successfully, I then add a gathering thread onto the bottom part of the top piece and gather it to the length of the blue lower part of the top. I pin it together and sew it finished sides in. Afterwards, it looks like this, and as you can see, I already pinned
Oh,
the
that's the
back
top
parts onto the
part
dress
of my
as well,
outfit.
and
Sorry,
will
the
now
popcorn's
also
hiding
just
it.
sew them on good sides in. And boom! A cute cat appeared. A very important assistant, I might say. Here you can see the finished skirt, and now I can take the finished top part of the dress
Oh,
and
wait,
pin
it's
it
turning
to
out
the
so
skirt before sewing the
pretty.
skirt and top together, finished sides
Wait,
in. My cat
the
at this
ruffles
point
turned
had
out so
enough of me,
pretty.
it seems. She was, however, very interested in the glue cap. The sewn together dress looks like this, and I now just have to pin together the back seam and sew it together about 2.5 inches, leaving just enough of a gap for the closure. The finished dress turned out so good, and you can see that
like,
even though I have been making dolls for years, sometimes I have to remake things in order to make them look better and more accurate. And that's okay, we learn from
that's
mistakes
amazing.
sometimes. Let's make the black topper that Doki wears on top of her dress next. I prepped the fabric pieces with white vinyl strips already and will now
Bring
sew
the
together
cat
the side
back.
seams, switch sides in. After sewing and
Where's
steaming
my
the seams,
kitty
it looks like this,
cam?
and I will now attach the blue lining pieces, on which I also iron on some white vinyl strips next. I place them onto the black parts good sides in and hem them on. When flapping around the lining parts, it
Aaron,
really
thank you
looks
for the
like
Twitch
Doki's
Prime.
dress
Thank
and will close
you.
like this in the end. I already cut and prepped the skirt for the
Oh.
topper by cleaning up the bottom
I think like
seams and
honestly
attaching
like
a
the hardest
gathering
part
thread,
with
and will now
clothes
gather
is
the
based
skirt to
making
match
clothes
the seam
based off
line
of like
the upper part. I
anime
make sure to spread
characters
the gathering
is that a lot of the
evenly and pin
clothes
skirt and
that
top part together before
that like
hemming
people
them
design
finished
for
sides
anime
in. Afterwards,
characters
it looks like this,
is
and I
very
closed it
hard
with
to
a
make
needle to show
reality
you
because
guys
they're not
how it
like
will look in the
physically
end.
possible.
For closure, I will be attaching two tiny
So it's
little
like
snap
always
buttons
super
to the front.
impressive that they're
These
able to
small buttons
replicate it
work
in real
really
life.
nicely for doll clothing. Last but not least, I will be gluing some tiny golden half
Because
beads
like
as kind
like
of fake
designers
buttons
like
to the front of the dress
manga
topper,
artists and
also
like
attach tiny
anime
golden
artists
stars
the
that I 3D
design
printed
is to
and
make like
painted
clothes that
gold,
look
and some
cool,
more half
not
beads
like
to the bottom of the
actually
dress topper
real.
as well. With these final steps, the dress topper is done, and I'm super happy how it turned out. It looks so much like Doki's outfit. I think especially the little details like the blue lining part with the white stripes really make it look very accurate to the
Yeah,
original.
art
On to the
cares
jacket.
not for
Doki's jacket,
gravity.
I first take the sleeves that I cut from gray cotton fabric and prep them by pulling and gathering threads on the top and bottom seams. I then gather the lower part of them and take these tiny little cuffs that I prepped by ironing them in half and now pin them to the gathered sleeve parts and sew them on. When done with that, the sleeves look really cute already, and I can now also gather the top part of them. I then set them aside for a bit and first will sew on the facing for the raglan collar to the bodice of the jacket. Of course, I fray checked all my fabric pieces to
People
make
who
sure
can
they
make
won't
like
fray
Final
before,
Fantasy
after sewing
and
on and steaming the facing
Kingdom
of the
Hearts
collar, it looks
cosplay
like this.
are
Folded
very
around,
impressive,
later it will look
especially
like
the
this and maybe
shoes.
makes a
The
little
Kingdom
bit more
Hearts
sense like
shoes,
that. And now
they
I
are
can
not
finally
practical
take
at
the
all.
prepped sleeves and sew them onto the bodice of the jacket with magic. Last but not least, I take my cat and gently push her out of the way so I can show you that I just needed to close the sleeve and
The
side
clown
seams of the
shoes.
jacket still. I pinned them together neatly and tried to match
Should we
up
make
all the
Kingdom Hearts
seams.
live
After
action
sewing, I then
movie
put the jacket
that
onto my
Disney
Nova doll so I
approved?
can exactly determine where to place the black ribbon
I heard
Ducky
that was
has
like the
attached to her
hardest
jacket.
part.
I pinned it before and now
Okay, sorry, this is off topic because someone mentioned Kingdom Hearts. You know how like the Smash Brothers trailer for Sora has no Donald and Goofy? Because getting Sora on his own was really hard. Getting Disney characters in Smash Brothers, like, okay, this is the perfect cut, by the way, the perfect angle for you guys. But if you notice, if you notice in the Kingdom Hearts Smash Brothers reveal trailer, there's no Donald or Goofy at all. There's no reference to Donald or Goofy, and even then, getting the Mickey Mouse keychain on the Keyblade was in itself incredibly difficult to do, because like, you know, Disney was like, I don't know.
Attach it to the jacket with my beloved alles Kleber. The horizontal strip is the final touch and will attach to the opposite side of the jacket with a little Velcro.
That's why like Donald and Goofy doesn't exist in Smash Brothers, or like there's no reference to Donald or Goofy in the for Sora in Smash Bros.
Designs into 3D is really difficult, but it's a challenge that I really enjoy conquering. Feels like mini cosplay somehow. Did I actually ever tell you that I used to cosplay back in the day? Pre-Moonlight Jewel times. Let's make Doki's boots next. I cut the boot pieces from blue fabric already and first sewed together the front seam, but just about ½ an inch. After sewing and ironing it, it looks like this, and I can now proceed to glue around the seam allowance of the upper boot part. I then take this strip I cut from white fabric,
and Disney will fuck up the Kingdom. Oh, absolutely. Disney is past its prime,
and will now pin
unless it goes into another Renaissance era.
It looks really
Disney is all about like corporate money greed / greed now.
For that, I carefully
also, Disney, you want to sponsor me? I take that back.
The back seam allowances of the boot, and instead of a zipper, totally not, because I completely forgot to order some, I will attach an elastic fabric on the back of the boot this time. I first glue around the top seam of the elastic fabric and then pin it to the boot piece like this.
By my silence.
Along the boot part of the boot and glue the rest with contact adhesive. Afterwards, it looks
Doki
really
is about corporate greed now. Not yet.
So the next thing I need to do is closing the little bottom seam on the back of the boot. And after that was done, I turn the boot inside out and finally close the rest of the front seam good sides in. I turn it inside out
when
again
you see me sponsored by Disney, you would know.
Put it on one of the Nova dogs to finish the boot. I cut a cardboard sole from an old cereal packaging and will now glue the bottom of the boot to the bottom of the cardboard.
How is that
like
not
this.
censored?
Cardboard sole is hard to say. For the shoe bases, I printed these bad boys that glue sculpted and now have to paint the toe caps of them black. I also prepped these tiny buckles I cut from PVC covered in silver vinyl on my laser cutter, and now take tiny pleather strips and thread them through the buckles first. As you can see, I attached one set of buckle straps to the boot already and will now do the same to the other. I simply attach them with glue and afterwards can finally glue the upper boot part to the shoe base using some Uhu all-purpose glue. Last but not least, I just attach a tiny golden star to the boot as well, and with this last step, the boots are also done. I decided to make them from fabric rather than pleather because you can see that on Doki's original artwork the boots do actually have some wrinkles, and I think the fabric choice resembles this perfectly here. Alright, the main part of the outfit is done. Let's make all of Doki's accessories. For her stocking, I will be using an actual human tights with stripes like this and cut out the stocking pattern from it. I then clean up the upper seam with glue,
like smart and convenient. That's so resourceful.
And sew the
not wasting materials.
Afterwards, it looks like this.
Because you can like, you know, there's like, if you want to make more stocking, you just get the same material.
Fabric and then take this tiny white lace and glue it to the upper part of the choker. I will do the exact same to the bottom part of the choker as well and end up with something like this. Now I carefully glue a tiny satin ribbon to the front of the choker and also add this tiny prepped folded ribbon to the middle of the choker as well. Oh well, I at least try to. For the final step, I take this tiny golden star and attach it to the middle of the just attached satin ribbon. And with a tiny velcro on the back edit,
did you even intend it? I didn't even know my boots were made of fabric, guys.
Remember
I said it's all about aesthetic instead of practicality. That's what I mean. I didn't even know. I learned something new today. I was like, whoa, my boots are fabric?
So awesome. To really bond the two components, I use a little metal roll. It's a really nice tool for that. I proceed and cut the tiny back pieces from the material off cam, and now first attach some glue to the back inside of the back to be able to attach the little side strip to it. Afterwards, I attach the front piece in the same fashion and end up with this little bag. I then covered a pleated piece with some blue
it's the bag for all my thieving tools. I don't know you guys know this. I'm a thief, by the way.
Totally unnecessary. Oh well. Now I just need to glue the satchel to the
I don't know if you guys forgot or not.
Decided for a small magnet as a closure. I glued it to the top part already, and now we'll attach the bottom magnet as well with some super glue. When it was dry, the back opens and closes nicely.
Yeah, it's like
so
where I
can
put
now
all the
attach
tools
those
to
little
do the
strips I
thieving
cut
things,
around
you
the
know?
upper and lower
Like the
part of
thief
the back.
tools.
And then I take even more
Yeah,
strips that
Doki,
will
what's
be the
in
thigh strips for the
what
back
tools
to
does
be able
thief
to be worn
use?
around the
You
leg later
know,
on. I glue them both
thieving
to one
stuff.
side of the back first, and then carefully glue them around the leg on one of my novas
You
to make sure the
know,
length
those
of the straps is
tools.
correct. Last but not least, I added these teeny tiny decorations to the back as well with some glue and tweezers, and finish off the little leg bag like that as well. Only one more accessory to make: the gloves. For these, I simply take a folded and cleaned up rectangle cut from jersey fabric and will sew them along the short seam, just leaving open a tiny gap for Ducky's thumb, kind of the same way I made Ironmouse's gloves back in the day. I can then simply put them onto the hands like this, and I really love this easy but nice technique of making
Doki, you're so
fingerless gloves for
stupid.
my
You leave
dolls.
fingerprints.
And with that, all the accessories for Dokibird's doll are finally done. Making accessories is definitely my favorite thing to do.
I was 50% done with those gloves.
I've been loving ever since I was a kid. I'm especially proud of that little leg bag. Okay, so the doll is actually done at this point, but for those of you who know me, you probably know
Best
that there is still
thief
something missing,
ever.
right? Exactly, the doll stand. I have conveniently vectorized the logo already, so how about we make that stand now with a final little montage.
Oh, it's so pretty. That's like my logo. Oh my god. Wait, that's the stand? Oh, I love it. Like the laser cut of the acrylic.
And with that, the doll stand is also done, and I can finally assemble the doll completely for the very first time. And I was absolutely blown away by how cute she turned out.
Oh, that's me! Ducky! Dokibird!
Oh my god, guys, I just put her together and she is everything. But I know, you're probably dying to see her. So, presentation time! Yay!
Dokibird's real! Oh! Bro, you can barely tell which one's the real Dokibird. Which one is it, guys? Can you tell? Who will you shoot? The hair's so long! Oh my god! Shoot the right one! Who's talking? You'll never know! It's so cute! I love how it came out. Oh my god, I love like the hair! The hair is like so well done. With all the layers and everything. It's actually so cute.
Here's my finished Ducky doll, and I hope you love her as much as I do. I also hope her new owner will be super happy with this doll as well.
The new owner,
in
me.
The intro, I will be going on a tiny little break because I'm actually getting married in a week. I'm wedding.
Oh wait, sorry, I did not mean to fast forward that part when you get married. I'm so sorry, that was an accident.
Which is going to be epic.
Congratulations on the wedding!
Big shout out as
congratulations to the wedding! Oh my god! Yeah, but I'm getting one of the dolls. And also, like, the person who won the auction is getting the other doll. That's so cute, though. Oh my gosh, huge shout out again to Moonlight Jewel. I love their work. I remember watching their work before or, in the past. So I was so surprised when she like contacted us saying that she wants to make a doll of me for the charity. And like a huge shout out for them. It was like really nice of them well they I paid them, by the way. So it's not like she did it for free, because I feel like, you know, obviously artists need to be supported. And I was so happy that she offered offered her services for the charity auction, and I'm so happy to receive one of the dolls. I get to receive a Dokibird doll. All right, guys, let me show you guys. Okay, the Jessica Rabbit outfit. Okay, Jessica Rabbit. fashion. I was like, oh my god, I think this one, making a Jessica Rabbit. Okay, this, oh my god, yeah, she has like 148 million views on this. I feel like you guys must have seen this. It's